Here's a story that will have some people fuming, for want of a better word. That was a poor joke about aeroplane fumes. But why am I talking about this nonsense? Well, there have been a number of MPs who have suggested bringing forward what's known as the Jet Zero strategy. And they want to introduce new measures, new taxes, new laws to stop people flying quite so much. But should we listen? Well, I'm delighted to say that joining me in the studio is Alethea Warrington, the senior campaigner at the climate charity Possible.
Hi.
Alethea, thank you for joining us. What is it exactly that these MPs are saying?
So really, the Committee of MPs in Parliament are calling for the government's strategy on aviation to start reflecting reality. We're in the middle of a climate crisis. All sectors need to do their bit. And there is just no way to fly a plane without burning huge amounts of fossil fuels and producing huge amounts of emissions. All the potential solutions to allow low carbon flight are a long way away. They're very undeveloped or they're very, very speculative. And this is why the MPs are calling on the government to start planning seriously for an aviation strategy that has to include demand management.
Now, demand management is a bit of a fancy phrase. What that means is stop people flying so much.
It means stopping the most frequent flyers from flying so much. And, you were talking about people fuming. Well, actually, the frequent flyer levy is a very popular solution because it would leave most people unaffected. It would just target the small group of people who take most of the flights.
What is a frequent flyer? How many flights do I have to take to become a frequent flyer?
So just 15% of people take 70% of all the flights. And if you fly 3 or more times each year, that puts you in that 15%. And these are the group of people who need to cut back on their flights.
So just 3 flights and I'm a frequent flyer. If I've got a friend's stag do in Prague and I get a 20 quid flight out there on Ryanair and then I go on my annual family holiday, just one more flight and you want to tax me?
So somebody who is taking 3 foreign holidays a year actually is highly likely to be in one of the wealthier segments of the population anyway. These are people with high carbon lifestyle choices, which are actually not reflective of the population in general, because most people fly once a year or even less than that. So yeah, actually those are the people, those frequent flyers who have to start cutting back.
Well, hold that thought. We're going to come back to you. Let's take those facts to Tim Jeans, the former managing director of Monarch Airlines, who was also previously chair of Cornwall Airport. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Frankly, do you recognise that conversation that we have been having, that a small number of people, well, 15% of people are doing a profound amount of damage, apparently, to the environment?
Well, the thing is, we've managed to democratise air travel in the last couple of decades. So we're all able to fly. We can all afford to fly. And we have many, many different reasons for flying, from holidays to business travel, but to visiting friends and relatives, going to family occasions. Flying is something that everybody can afford, and they are, by and large, paying their taxes. Air passenger duty in the UK is amongst the highest in the world. So take, for example, somebody going on holiday to Florida with their family. They'll be paying over £300 in air passenger duty. And air passengers contribute over £3 billion a year to the exchequer because of the air passenger duty they pay. So to say that air travellers are not doing their bit, and the more they fly, the more they pay, I think it's a bit disingenuous.
So Tim, you're saying that actually people who take 3 flights a year might not be in the top income brackets. This is actually people on very modest salaries often who are taking 3 flights a year.
Very, very modest salaries. People who are, I know of care workers who are travelling to and from assignments in Europe who are taking vastly more than 3 flights a year. Students who are studying from overseas universities are also flying, in many cases, to the UK and from the UK. And it's those kind of people we hit. It's those people who can afford to fly business class, who can afford to fly on the, if you like, the high-cost legacy carriers. They're already paying, and they probably could afford to pay more But what
That's
we're
a
looking at
really,
here is
really
the
interesting
millions-
point, and one that we're going to pass back to Alethea. Frankly, the rich could pay all of these taxes that you're proposing. It's people like care workers and students and people on modest incomes who'll be whacked by your taxes.
That's actually not the case, because the frequent flyer levy is designed to avoid targeting people on lower incomes who fly occasionally. It's designed to target the wealthier people in society who fly most often. And it's absolutely the case that we need other policies as well. We certainly need a tax, or ideally a ban, on private jets. And we also need a ban on airport expansion, because it is really irresponsible for so many of the airports across the UK to be trying to expand in the middle of a climate crisis.
Do you not recognise that the United Kingdom has done more than any G20 country to cut its carbon emissions since 1990? That we've got some of the highest taxes on our carbon, on our flights, of anywhere in the world?
That's actually not true. Aviation is very undertaxed. The entire aviation industry does not pay a single penny of fuel tax on all the kerosene.
And yet air
that it
passenger
burns.
duty is quite high comparatively.
Not compared to the emissions that it produces.
Compared to any other country in the world.
It is ridiculous that a billionaire on a private jet doesn't pay any fuel tax.
Well, we
and a
have
care
run
worker
out of
does.
time. Alethea, really appreciate your time.